everyone, and welcome to the BB&J Show. I am Jay, that handsome man. I got it first try. To that side of me is BB. BB, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm living and I'm just me.
Oh,
I never know
okay.
what to say. I never know what to say with these things. It's too much pressure. Don't ask me how I am.
Yes, the pressure of finding out how you're doing. There's so much pressure in when somebody asks you how your day is going. The pressure, the immense pressure that is involved in that. Uh, well, okay, we've been doing this for 2 years. I just want
Yeah.
I just want that to be
Yes.
out there
Still not
in
used to it.
some form
Feels
or
like the
another.
first time. Feels like the very first time. Was that song by Bruce Banner?
Bruce Banner. I'm sorry. It's like you started something, almost slipped into like a Virgin by Madonna, and then just went in a completely different direction. And I don't. Okay, well, have you recovered from the Mega-sode, um, at
I
all?
think that's what happened. I think that's what happened. My brain is still technically fried from the massive amount of hours that we put in on that whole ass recording. Like, it's funny because on YouTube it's all separate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for us, we did that shit live, so it was like just what was it, 7 hours, right? Of just game
Yeah,
trailers and cringe. I was like,
yeah.
it was so much. It was so much. But
I
I'm
yeah.
slowly recovering still.
I'm. You know what? I will say that was the most. That was the most I've ever streamed, I think, or been on stream. Of course, we stream. If you're watching this on YouTube and you have no idea what in God's name we're talking about, first of all, check out our channel, subscribe, so you'll see other videos. But we stream this live in front of a studio audience that have been held against their will on Twitch, twitch.tv/outlawman76. And we hang out with everybody who's in chat before and after the show, and then we put up this slice of recording up on YouTube. So last few videos, which are cut up into, I think it's a playlist, it's the BB&J Summerfest or something like that. Everything but the PlayStation uh, reaction thingy was all done at once. So we it's a slow descent into madness, basically. If you start at the Xbox showcase and
Yeah.
end with the Ubisoft, you'll see people who go from insanity to sanity, because at the end, but the Xbox was the last thing we watched, and we were toast by that point. So um
Yeah, we definitely were. We had no energy left. I mean, it was an exciting showcase, but I think that was the problem is that we just had since it was the last one, we were just kind of done, you know?
yeah, yeah. But before we get started, I do have a cautionary tale. I'm a one-legged man, and thankfully this is not an ass-kicking contest. Not actually. I'm not a one-legged person actually, but I have a little footstool under my desk, and unoccasionally, I rest my foot on the footstool and what have you. Well, it's good. It's good when it works. However, I kicked it really hard the other day, and I think I tore something in my foot or toe or something, because it really hurts, and I walk around with a limp and a cane now. So, um, yeah, here's
When
my
did this happen?
here's my handy dandy cane that I now walk with.
Oh
So
my god, you're a
I get to
grandpa now.
I can beat people with the cane, like when I don't like what they're saying. Start beating people.
Damn,
Um,
youngins.
yeah, you get off my lawn. Back in my day. Um, this
I
was
don't.
last
I mean,
week.
look, I don't want to come off like I'm laughing at you about it.
Yeah, that's okay. You can laugh at my
I'm
pain.
just. I mean, I meant it like. I'm nervous now. No, I meant it like in a good way. Like, keep the energy up. Woo.
What the hell is that? Is that what you? I'm picturing BB visiting a children's hospital doing that. Like, here's the energy of woo, and the kids are just like,
Bro,
"What
like
was that?"
exactly. Oh my god.
Well, I Okay. Anyway, so that's the state I'm in. Yeah, BB's just laughing at my life-altering injury. That's fine. I will walk with a pronounced limp for the rest of my days, and BB will just laugh about it every time he sees me walking down the street.
I would know. I would never laugh at you like that. And not in front of you like that.
Despite the fact that
Okay, wait,
10
not
seconds
even
ago
wait, that sounded
you
bad.
laughed
I
in
wouldn't
front of
laugh
me and the
in
whole
front
world.
or behind you. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't laugh like,
I see you stand
like,
to the side of
you
me
have
and
a
laugh.
cane, like that's rude, you know?
You have a cane, fucking loser. You fucking noob.
Oh my god, no, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying, like, I was laughing because I was just like, oh dang, Jay.
That's not the explanation you think it is, I don't think.
you know. But yeah, how besides that, how are things?
Oh, I see. I think you got a bicycle rammed way halfway up your ass. Besides that, how things going?
Oh my god, bro, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Anyway, I think we should probably move on to what we had planned next, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
So we're gonna just take a few minutes to digest all of what we saw last week in the games and stuff showcase. BB, do you have thoughts that you wanna now that you've taken it in a lot of the showcase and a lot of the deep dives on other games that have come out, perhaps you looked into some games that you saw or whatever, do you have any sort of like more refined thoughts? Because at the end of that 8-hour just mash, we did not have exactly the most refined thoughts to give.
No, yeah, I definitely back to like check out at least some of the stuff that I was like interested in, right? And then I kind of skimmed through each like show that we watched to kind of look at like the quality slash like the content that they did, how they did it, and I still think that Xbox was the best showcase that we had. They pretty much showed us what they had. They updated us on things that they already had out, right? Like Starfield and stuff like that. Um, and it was just kind of straightforward to the point of like, hey, look, this is what we're working on. There was a lot of like this year
Mm-hmm.
release dates announced,
Yeah.
which was really cool. But yeah, I think they had the best showcase, to be honest. It was really good. It was really good. I think a lot of like most people probably agree, like on the internet and like in our communities too.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people were excited for most of the stuff that was on there. Um, it definitely made me realize that the other shows, I don't know what it is, but like there's just this thing where like they try to make the shows kind of, and I'm talking about like the future game show most basically, right?
Oh
Where like
God.
I see that they try to do this thing and they've done this every year, which to me, I don't know. I mean, if that's what they want to do, I mean, they have every right to, but it's just like I don't know why they try to do the whole like funny skit kind of thing, but it's just it doesn't, maybe it sounds better on paper
Mm.
and it's just not because it sounds so forced. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
so forced, especially when you see like Arthur Morgan just doing these weird jokes and you're like, yeah, so what's next?
Y-
Like you
yeah.
just get so awkward in it. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate like when they try to, they're trying to do their best at the end of the day, right? To show you
Yeah.
the stuff and like try to be entertaining and whatnot. And I'm not, I mean, I'm not saying I'm never cringe. I cringe all the time, but it's just like there's something is like when it's natural, I feel like it's perceived better than when it's like
Mm-hmm.
something scripted, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm gonna be funny right now at this very exact moment. You ready?
Exactly.
And it's like, oof, yeah, it doesn't come off the same way, or like it doesn't feel genuine. So it's like you're just kind of like, this is just kind of space that's wasted, or like time that's wasted doing these things where you could just show me what you have.
Yeah.
Um, that's how I felt about that one. All the other ones, they were decent. They were
Yeah.
decent. Like it was a lot though. I will say when we broke it down to like, I mean, obviously we were there for like 7 hours, right? But breaking each one down, I was like, damn, that's like, I wonder if it doesn't feel that long when you're watching it live. with people or whatever, because like I was just like, that's a long time for a showcase, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's a like they had a really time. Some of these were
Mm-hmm.
so long where you were just like, I wonder how that feels whenever you're watching it live. Not like now I feel like I'm gonna be more conscious of like when we're watching them, and we'll try the
Yeah.
next year. We'll definitely
Yeah.
try to watch them live, so like that we
Yeah.
don't have to stack everything
Oh
on
God,
top,
no. Yeah, we're gonna have to
because that was the
triage.
worst idea. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to triage. Oh
That was
God.
the worst idea, man. Like, I mean, and it wasn't intentional because it was like we were at well, like I was out of town, so
One
like
of
I couldn't
us
get some
has
of
a
the.
social life.
Oh my God, stop! No, like I was out of town, so I couldn't really like do the whole thing live and everything. And I mean, I appreciate Jay waiting on me to do it with me. So, but yeah, I definitely want to look at this individually next time because
Yeah.
it was too much, yo. It was too much. But yeah,
I
overall, I thought it was. I thought the experience that I had was good.
yeah.
Like we got to see a lot of cool stuff. A lot of stuff that it's kind of the same. Copy pastas. But I feel like
Yeah.
that's just always gonna be the case, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then we also saw things that got us excited for next year, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a good job overall. Like all of them kind of set the boundary for like um stuff they're working on, and then stuff that's that's coming out this year,
Yeah.
which is always good.
I I came away with a few takeaways. One, I love Roger Clark, and I'm sure Tifa Girl is really cool, but not in that format. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. It's like the frustrated Saturday Night Live writer that never got to make it, working for Saturday Night Live or like, late night TV. So they're writing their what they think is funny sketches. It's like,
Hmm.
when the spread your legs comment that you had during that 7 hour stream last week, when we went BRB, which is by the way, Twitch exclusive. So if you want to hear about how BB goes to
No.
take a break, join us twitch.tv/outlawman76. But that was organic and that was hilarious. The BBception clip on your stream, that was hilarious and organic. That's funny. But when you try to and don't get me wrong, you can write funny. Obviously comedy
Hmm.
writers exist. You can write funny. But when you have an audience that is there for funny, it's more receptive. We weren't there
Hmm.
for funny. We were there to see what the games that they were going to show us were. It's cool that they have game voice actors or whatever, but not in that setting. I will say the Xbox was the best one and had the least amount of presenters.
Yeah,
It was just
true.
trailer to trailer to trailer to trailer, and that worked. Um, the biggest thing I took away, because honestly, Dragon Age, we're gonna talk a little Dave TV after this. That is what I'm calling the new Dragon Age. Dragon Age the Veilguard. I'm calling it Dave TV. But I was there for the Dragon Age. So like all of those game trailers and everything didn't really, it was like, cool. But I will say I really liked that there was variety. Because it
Mm,
feels like,
yeah,
because we covered, what was it, 2023? We did Xbox, we did a live on your stream, I believe it
yeah,
was. It was
yeah,
2023, we did a live. That was a Redfall, right? It was
yeah, yeah. That's when we saw
Yeah.
Redfall for the first
Did
time.
Redfall come out this year? Or was that 2022 that we did?
No, that
No, it
was
was
that was last year.
2022. No,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was 2020
2022. Yeah,
22.
last year
Oh, you're
2022.
talking about yeah, the
Yeah,
showcase. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We covered the Xbox show, and
yeah.
then
The game came out last year. Yeah,
and then
which
you
unfortunately had
mm,
they shut down that studio, unfortunately, which kind of
listen,
sucks.
it
But
does, but at the same time, play stupid prizes, get stupid games, or play
mm,
stupid games, get stupid prizes, I should say. But no, I like the variety because that year, the 2022, it felt like every other trailer was a cozy platforming puzzle solving game, which is fine
mm,
if you like that. But I got tired of seeing that after the third trailer that was like that. So
yeah,
I was like, give me more variety. And there was some of that, like, cozy platforming, puzzle solving stuff this time around, but we also got more variety of games. And I think that was what really excites me, is that you have your single player, RPGs. You have your
Hmm.
and different versions of a single player RPG, because Avowed looks different than Dragon Age,
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
than such and such and such. We got our cozy puzzles, whatever. We got our that trailer with the talking catfish. I don't remember what it was
Oh
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, we
Uh,
got to see more
yeah,
of that one. Yeah.
yeah, we got to see some of that, which is different. We got some not RPGs, first person shooters with the photorealistic, shooting
Oh
game.
yeah.
We
We
also
got to
got,
see what was it, Doom? The new
yeah,
Doom, which
Doom. We
looks
got
sick.
to see some Doom, which is an MMO. We got to see part of the what was it? Valorant's now coming to console. So there was like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I think it was a new Diablo expansion. There was so many different categories that I feel like were served by different trailers, different games, big and small, that I don't feel like was there in 2022, and I can't really remember 2023. So that made me feel optimistic going forward, even if all of those games aren't my jam, because a vast majority of them really aren't. But the more variety we have in the gaming space, the better. I worry about gaming becoming monolithic, because once corporate interests get involved, you run the risk of things becoming monolithic and everything is just a cookie cutter. Everybody chased the live service money, everybody chased that Fortnite money,
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Even Ubisoft had that one fucking thing with the ball shooting lasers and
Oh yeah.
like
Well.
weird off the wall. But you know what? That probably will be fun on a stream. It'll probably be a fun party
Yeah.
game or something.
True.
So
True.
there's so much out there that I'm like, okay, there's enough here to satiate a whole wide variety of people, and that makes me happy as far as games are concerned.
True. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, we did have a lot of um with uh with this game showcase or showcases. Sorry. The other thing that I would point out on there too is that we saw a lot of indie devs this year
Mm-hmm.
too. Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like double A gaming, which
Yeah.
is interesting to see the indie developers kind of like if I would I mean personally I think they kind of overshadowed the
Oh
AAA
yeah.
games this
Yeah.
year because it was so many and
Mm-hmm.
unique ones too. And it's like it's kind of like weird to see the whole shift of like who's doing what, right? Cuz with
Yeah.
AAA games like you kind of have that expectation of like it's supposed to be this, well, like as in the name, like AAA quality, right? Something like the
Yeah.
super
Or
high,
quadruple A.
like, or yeah. At this point, there's some people, some companies now that are supposedly doing quadruple games now. Um, but it's just so weird to see like the different focus that each of those have, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like the AAA gaming is very like highly monetized now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like that's like their main focus. But then you got like the indie devs kind of being like, well, we're trying to do stuff for gamers because we're gamers, and so I ended up just wanting to do a game because that I would play, right? And then they get a whole team and they're out here doing stuff that's like no microtransactions in their games, roadmaps, right? When
Mm-hmm.
they make an early access game, they have a roadmap like in about a month or less, right? And then single developers, right, coming out now where they're making these huge massive games that are successful and it was only one person or up to like four people or whatever. So it's really interesting to see like I think this showcase like for each one it showed us like there's so much like the whole gaming world is kind of like changing in a way, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I think it's kind of fascinating. I think it's kind of interesting to see that like
Oh
shift
yeah.
of
Same.
like who does what or whatever.
Same. And I mean, we saw today you play one of those sort of indie double A games that we saw for on a showcase in 2022. Still Wakes the Deep. We saw you
Oh
stream
yeah,
that today, and
yeah,
that was a really good game. Like,
that was good.
you
Yeah,
could, in terms of like things in the story that we were talking about before. There's certain things, and we're not going to spoil it, but there are certain things in the story that we would have preferred things be done a little differently or expanded upon or
yeah,
whatever. But the quality of the game itself, because you played the entire game all the way through. You streamed it for like 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
From what I saw, I had to step away for about an hour, but from what I saw, there were no bugs. There was
Yeah,
certainly
yeah,
no
it was
game
really,
crashing things.
really
The
neat.
voice
Yeah.
acting was good.
Oh,
Uh,
voice acting was phenomenal. It was so
yeah,
good.
it was graphically
Yeah.
was pretty good. You know, the settings weren't too obtuse, and you were able to fix some settings early on. Like, it was just a good, really good game, and
Mhm.
the fact that we're getting more of that, I feel like, is really exciting. And
Yeah. And that's what I was telling you about. Like that was like a 4-hour game or whatever, right?
mm-hmm,
And like if I look at the pricing for it, let me look at it real quick. I'm pretty sure it was most likely like a um what is it called? Like I believe it was either 29 or 39.99.
yeah,
I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna look it up right now. Um but like going back into that, it's 34.99, which to me that is a good price for the
yeah,
quality of a game it was,
yeah, yeah,
right? Because if you take your time, like there's definitely things that I missed where there was like lore and stuff like kind of scattered
mm-hmm,
throughout the areas that you could explore. So it probably could be, more than 4 hours, maybe five, if
yeah,
you did everything together, right? Um, but I mean, for that type of game and the quality and for the price, I think that was perfect because you
yeah,
got yourself. It's like you really did get it. Like it wasn't an interactive movie where it's like just click here and then wait for like an action to happen or whatever. Like some of the
mm-hmm,
cinematic movie games are, right?
yeah,
This was more of like it's an actual game. You play, you control the player and everything. You go where you want. You have to hide. You have to be strategic in certain places or whatever, right?
very Alien
But at the same
Isolation.
time, yeah, exactly. A big inspiration of that on that was like Alien Isolation, right? Um, and so to me, that's like a really, really good game itself, right?
Mm-hmm,
Like it was just so good from start to finish, right? And people feel different types of ways depending on how you see the story.
yeah,
But like that's what I was telling you about the whole like, smaller teams versus like the bigger teams right now, like AAA versus like AA and stuff. Like the
mm-hmm,
quality I feel like with AA is like is kind of on the rise right now, right? Like their
yeah,
quality is like amped up at this point where like AAA is kind of like I feel like they've been on vacation, you know? Or
yeah,
they've been on vacation
yeah,
just watching the microtransactions kind of like stock like keep like piling up, with everything to so it's I don't know. I'm just curious to see how with some of the stuff that's coming out and for next year, like how is that going to affect,
yeah.
the gaming industry, right?
Yeah, because it is a copycat industry. We saw
Mhm.
all the live service stuff. We'll see how who chases what, and how they chase it, and we'll see what comes of it. I just think the better quality games we get like that. I mean, Still Wakes the Deep at launch, more content than New World, more stable than Halo Infinite, and a better
Okay.
overall game than Anthem. So I mean, it's just it's got the AAA's beat. But speaking of AAA's, that was our thoughts on an expanded digestion of what we saw last week. But um, let's talk Dragon Age, which wasn't a part of any of the showcases last week that
But
we
they did
covered.
have
They
I think
had a
Summer Game Fest showed the cinematic, right?
Yeah, which
It was just
which
the
to
cinematic.
be honest was I don't know who was in charge of that, but I feel like they did. I'm gonna get into it, but I feel like
No, no, no.
Bioware.
Okay, wait, wait. I think we should get into it. I think we
Yeah,
should get into it
well, I
in the
want.
form of just kind of overall thoughts on that, and then the actual
Yeah, okay, I think
gameplay.
the overall thoughts on the cinematic trailer was kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't like the art
Yes.
style of the cinematic trailer, but I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this I knew watching it, I knew that's not how the game was gonna look, because that's not
No,
how
of
gameplay
course.
looks. So I was kind of like,
Yeah.
that kind of already made me just kind of like, okay, cinematic trailer. This was obviously something somebody cooked up. I wonder if, and I don't know, maybe Kotaku will do an article in like 2 years, but I wonder if we'll find out that they didn't think they were gonna have the trailer ready for Summer Games Fest, like the gameplay trailer that they showed or whatever,
Mm.
and that's why they picked their own date. And then it was kind of like, well, it'll be ready, kind of, and it was like too late, so they just quickly rendered that cinematic trailer for the Summer Games Fest and threw it in there, because that trailer, no, they did themselves no service. It already put fans on a
Yeah.
what is this kind of footing, right? Like already fans were going into the gameplay thing with like, what is this? So I think it was easier for people to pick apart the gameplay that they saw, and so
Exactly.
I didn't like the cinematic trailer. I haven't seen it more than once. I saw it once in the Summer Games Fest and kind of put it out of my mind because it was just it wasn't good. The gameplay
Exactly.
trailer was much better to me.
which we'll talk about that here in a second. No, yeah, I feel like almost I kind of feel like everyone kind of felt the same way about that game trailer or the
Mm-hmm.
announcement trailer, right?
Yeah.
Because it was just very like hero shooter style,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where it was like the name, like huge name pops up, and then it's like, oh, I'm the necromancer, oh, I'm the, so it was like
Yeah.
almost like it reminded me of that one gameplay trailer or announcement trailer slash gameplay that fooled us, that just tore my heart
Con-
out. What's it
Condor?
called?
Concord.
Condor. Yeah, Concord.
Yeah.
Exactly. It felt just like that, right? Where it was like, oh, we're different heroes, and then like it turns out it's a freaking arena hero shooter. I'm like,
Yeah.
how dare you? Like how dare you hype me up with that trailer, and then and then it's not like a RPG game or whatever. And I mean, obviously, I didn't know what Concord was, or
Yeah.
what to expect from Concord. I just
Yeah.
thought it was like, oh, look, this is a new game or whatever, right? And then like that comes out, and it's like, oh, it's a hero shooter. With the Dragon Age thing, obviously, we know that Dragon Age is a single player RPG game, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Inquisition had like the multiplayer, but so most people already know what Dragon Age is, right? And then seeing that trailer, to me, I don't know, I just feel like it just kind of looked too like hero shooter
Yeah.
kind of thing. It just looked
Yeah.
weird. It looked off, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It
Yeah.
looked off the way they were introducing everybody and whatnot. It just kind of looked like multiplayer or something like that. From how I saw it. And it makes me wonder if like that was like the main idea for, how
Mm.
it went through like different stages
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
development, right? So it's like, could that be an influence in the trailer too? Like, cause it was supposed to be like a live service, but also multiplayer, but then also it was like not, I don't know, it was like a bunch of stuff.
I had forgotten. My PTSD blocked that trailer out of my head so much that I forgot that they actually introduced, the people as they went and all of that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How
I
everybody
forgot about that. I
was
wonder
being
if that's a
introduced. Yeah,
remnant, a leftover from when it was supposed to be a multiplayer game. Like they had
that's what I
like
was saying.
they had
Exactly.
either the trailer rendered or like
Mhm.
the storyboard for it, and just said, "Fuck it, we need something quick." It's like you just have notes on a project you weren't gonna do, and you need something, so you just say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go with this," and they went with that. I wonder, but they did. BioWare aside, I didn't like Daddy Age, so I like the
Oh
new
my god,
name
here we go.
change. I like the new name change, but that is like the only
Daddy Guard,
thing
okay? Daddy
that
Guard
is
is the new name now.
Dave TV is what we're calling it. The new I like the new name, but I feel like
Mhm.
that was the Bioware made every other marketing misstep. So and we'll talk about the gameplay trailer, because I still, much as I like the gameplay trailer, I feel like there was a marketing misstep in that as well. So
Yeah.
I feel like whoever signed off on going with that trailer, seeing how it looked, seeing the feel and the vibe that it was going to give, whoever signed off on that,
Mhm.
they should be slapped on the wrist, because that's a no. Because that put a, because like if you don't like, if you like games that look good, you're gonna see that and be like, ugh, I don't even want to give this Dragon Age a try. It's like you gotta. I don't think you should cater to only expanding an audience, but you shouldn't spit in their
Yeah.
face either. You know, like unless they ask for it, in which case you have them buy you dinner first, and then you negotiate a agreeable situation in which spitting in the face can work out. But You know, I just, but as we segue from that to spitting in the face to then the gameplay trailer, BB, you watched the gameplay trailer live on your stream,
Hmm.
and you at the time had not played uh any
Yes.
Dragon Age. You have since
Yes.
played some Inquisition.
Yes.
Talk to me
Which
through.
I'll describe it before playing some of Dragon Age, right? Some of the Inquisition, because I mean I'm still in the beginning of the game, which I'm
Yeah.
currently trying to um play, right? So I will say that some of it has shifted a little bit because of at least my last or my current playthrough, right, of Inquisition. But when I first saw it, to me, it just, and keep in mind, I never played Dragon Age 2 or Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2.
Right.
Never played those, which I know people are like huge fans of Dragon Age Origins, right? Like a lot of people like that or call that one like the best one, right?
I
So I
get it.
never played anything like that or um and when I saw this, my first interpretation of it was that it looked very like uh like a WB game, right? Where it was like
Mm-hmm.
a beat 'em ups, like fantasy Batman. And I know most people don't like that you try to, label it as that. But this is
Yeah.
just how I saw it. And keep in
Yeah.
mind, like I said, I never played Dragon Age, right? I
I
saw it
could
like
see
that,
what
where it
you
was like
saw.
a combo kind of thing, right? Where you do
Yeah.
combos and stuff. Um and then as it was going, I mean, I didn't know any of the background. I didn't know any of the characters, right? So I know there's people who knew some of those characters. So like that didn't influence me either, where I was
Mm-hmm.
excited. To me, it seemed kind of like a generic kind of RPG is
Yeah.
from what I saw. So I wasn't excited for it. When I finished watching it, I was just like, I mean, it didn't look bad at all, you know? I
Right.
never said it looked bad. I just got it. My interpretation of it was that it felt kind of like superhero style, or like another example would be like Shadow of Mordor, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
the way the combat of it is, right? Where it's very like combo based and parrying and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um and so I didn't see the combat in that way. And I know a lot of people were saying that Dragon Age Origins was more of like a what is it? Like you could pause, like real time pause,
Yeah.
and
Tactical
more
pauses and all of that.
strategic, exactly, and like strategic and tactical, which we didn't really see that. There was like only pausing, but for the what is it called, the spell, which
Yeah.
I know we'll talk about this in a second. But that was how I interpreted the first time seeing it. Now, when I played Dragon Age Inquisition, I'm still at the beginning. I've thankfully have gotten out of the hinterlands, which is horrendous. But I'm so far still in the beginning of the story, very, very early on. But it's growing on me. The story is growing me. I mean, keep in mind, I do like Bioware. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
huge Mass Effect fan. That's like one of my favorite games. Um, and now comparing that, like a little bit of Dragon Age Inquisition, like I'm kind of hooked to it. Like I want
Yeah.
to know what happens. I want to develop the relationships with my crew and or the party members, right? I want to get to know more of the characters. I want to know the whole plot. I want to figure it out, all that. So the storytelling on that part is really really good. I'm enjoying it where it's at. And after I played it, which the last time I played, I think it was sometime last week. I went back and watched it again, and I also was more informed in a lot of the stuff that our good friend Redbeard Flynn, shout out to my boy, um kind of showed me some of the stuff that they were like news, right, on
Yeah.
new mechanics and what specific things you're able to do and with these characters. And that kind of shifted me more to the point of like, oh well, now I kind of want to see more. Like I
Right.
do hope in the next few months we get more, and hopefully it's more in depth than
Yeah.
starting off at the first level. Because with some of the mechanics they introduced in those articles, I was like, well, now that seems different. That seems a lot better. And I think it was just kind of like like a weird way of introducing the game, right? And
Yeah.
I think that if they would have done, and we've talked about this many times now since then, where it was like the whole, like if it was probably more in depth of the, or like later on, maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe not too mid game, but somewhere where you have more than like one spell, right?
Yeah.
To kind
Yeah.
of see what combos, because there's so many articles now about like how you can combo
Yeah.
with your teammates. You
Yeah.
see, and we didn't see any of that. We just saw
Nope.
you control your own character and fight, and it looked like just like a combo kind of thing that you do on
Yeah.
your own, right? Where like you're
Yeah.
just pressing, whatever it is, the button, like I don't know, X, triangle, or whatever control you're using. But like you're trying to combo in that way, in the fighting way,
Mm-hmm.
style. So now learning more about that information, I will say I did change my mind from not interested to interested. I
Good.
am interested to see it. I'm gonna try to
Welcome to
complete
the
it.
bandwagon. Welcome on in. We
Oh my
saved you a
god.
seat. We saved you a seat.
No, like I'm playing Inquisition. I want to finish that so I can kind of have somewhat of a knowledge of the lore, because this is kind of characters from the previous games should supposedly come out, or at least be mentioned or something like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more about it before I get into it. But now I'm interested. I am interested with what they were saying. I just want to see it. I
Right.
want them
Yeah.
to showcase that, right?
Yeah.
That's how I felt. So that was my opinion on it. I didn't like it at first. I thought it was just kind of mid, generic. But now after playing it and seeing, trying to think positive, because at the end of the day, the biggest thing for this series is like it has so much like negativity, and I know as soon as I said the damn fire truck, I was like, oh shit, put the fire out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Bioware on their
uh,
way to put out the fire for that cinematic trailer.
exactly. um That's what I mean. Like I felt like there was a lot of negativity, and I'm somebody who doesn't really like to like, if somebody likes a certain thing, I don't want to be that person to, go and pour like freaking gasoline all over and light that shit on fire, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't like that. Like if you like something, that's good, right?
Yeah.
I respect that. So I wanted to shed more positivity on it, because I mean, it's a fantasy game. I am new to the fantasy genre, at least in the last like 3 years. I love it. I want more of it, and so now I'm excited for it, man. I want to see what they're cooking, or if
Yeah.
they're cooking. You
Hopefully they're
know?
cooking with gas.
Yeah.
I will. Okay. So I gotta. I've made, as I told you earlier. I wrote you a few days ago that I've been making some notations on, because
Hmm.
there's things, I don't want to go off on a tangent, because I could talk about Dragon Age for hours and this will be a 9-hour episode. Um, there's a few things that I've seen. I feel like there's two groups of people who were critical of what they saw.
Yeah.
And I think you fall into the category of fair criticism. There
Hmm.
was also a group of people who were there was nothing that Bioware could have shown that would have pleased those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
First
Yeah.
of all, you've got 10 years of expectations, 10 years of hope. And when you have
Yeah.
nothing to see for 10 years, people build up in their head. And, reality can never live up to the fantasy. Just ask my ex-wife. So, when that's the case, you end up with a situation where just people are going to be not happy. And then there's just people who are malcontents. And then, of course, you have the backwards, close-minded, asshats who want to say everything's DEI and all that other shit. And they can just go piss up a rope.
Yeah.
I will say, though, however, I can see what you saw in terms of like the Superman arc or Batman beat 'em up, whatever.
Yeah.
And Saints Row 3 and 4 have similar combat to the Arkham games. They actually, a few other games do too as well. But because you kind of like, when I said that in your reaction stream, it was like I had just said, the sky was orange. You were like, what? But
No,
anyway,
because I mean, I don't remember like fighting in that game. I just was like shooting everything I saw or whatever. Like I don't
okay.
remember like the combat itself, like melee combat or whatever. But
Care-
I,
Careful,
that was just
BB&J.
how I reacted, because I was like, what?
Your Texan is showing. I just done shot
Oh,
everything. Yeehaw!
oh
Anyway,
my god. Stop.
no, I will say though, I do wanna defend a little the sort of generic and shallow are not the right words, because they have negative connotations. However, I want to defend the sort of simplistic combat, because
Hmm.
what is both our favorite game, Baldur's Gate 3? What
Yeah.
is a common thing that has happened with almost everybody who's played Baldur's Gate 3. At some point, fatigue kicks in, and you stop for a while. You stop
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while. I mean, I didn't. I'm a
Yeah.
champ, but you know, almost everybody we know has a point in which they stopped. You know, they had to stop. Why? Because Baldur's Gate is so intricate. It's so just, like every movement, everything requires so much brain power and
Yes.
spell this
Yeah.
and you're so sometimes you just need a game that's just a button mashing and you get a good story.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want
Yeah.
to come home and
I get
just
that.
mash a few buttons and get a good story. Dragon Age Inquisition, the combat's kind of booty. It's
Oh,
kind of
it's
just
cheeks. It's
it's just
straight cheeks.
it's mashing the trigger, but you get a good
Oh, yeah.
story. Every
Exactly.
so like to me that's
Real quick, real
sometimes
quick, real quick. I wanna to what you're saying. I do respect that, and I never thought of it like that. So
yeah
I do want to say that that is very critical. Because to me that's actually interesting because I never thought of it like that, and I think part of the problem was Baldur's Gate.
yeah
Like I feel like Baldur's Gate set the highs, like the bar so high for so many RPG style games,
mm-hmm
right? That I'm like still stuck in that and not seeing it for what it is, right? It's
yeah
obviously not Baldur's Gate, right? So it's
yeah
like I got to shut that off.
yeah
That as much as I
yeah
love Baldur's Gate 3, right, where it's become my favorite game of all time now,
same same
I have to shut that off. And you're right, like
yeah
not every game is going to be Baldur's Gate, or not every game has to be Baldur's Gate 3,
right
right?
you know
So I respect that, yeah,
yeah
for sure.
sometimes you're tired from the day and you just want to just because I mean there are times where I want to play Baldur's Gate 3 but like my brain is just I'm like
Yeah,
I don't got the I don't got the
yeah,
mental capacity to like
exactly,
think through what spells and all of these strategies and everything. So sometimes it's good to just have that like button masher that you get a good story out of. So
exactly. Yeah.
that's kind of like when I saw the combat, I was like, all right, is it super complex and all of that intricate? Maybe not, but at the same time, it was faster paced, which I like. I like Dragon Age 2 had the best
Hmm.
combat to me because especially Rogue and Mage, because you can just press the attack button and it was faster. I like faster
Okay.
combat. So that was kind of what I saw and kind of what I thought of and kind of why what I saw from the combat didn't really put me off because it just was like this is a different lane. This is a game where if I'm tired from the day or whatever and I just want to see how
Mm.
the story progresses, I can. They let us
Yeah.
romance Scout Harding. My beating heart is happy. But I think a real thing that is BioWare, in my opinion, made a misstep, a bit of a misstep, a bit of a miscalculation. Now,
Hmm.
is there something that mid game is so fundamentally spoilery? Because there's, and I'm not going to spoil it for you because you haven't beaten Inquisition, but
Hmm.
those people who finished Inquisition are and once they found out that this is picking up from where Inquisition left off, those who finish Inquisition are expecting the story in a certain direction. I wonder if after the first act, the story kind of is fundamentally different. That if you've played Inquisition, it's kind of a spoiler almost, no matter what they showed. My opinion, what they should have done, or they should do in it coming up, is show like a glitzy trailer of gameplay where it's just music playing or whatever, or voiceover from a different section, and show some of the combos from like a side quest or something.
Hmm.
Something just the fighting, just the combos, and because the combos remind me a lot of Andromeda, which had the best combat of all the Mass
Yeah.
Effects. And
Yeah.
that was a lot of the combos. You do a biotic lift and somebody's floating in the air and you get a soldier to like shoot a concussive
Yes.
shot.
Yes. Yes.
I'm picturing
Hmm.
combos like that
Yeah, combat
in
was just beautiful in
right.
Andromeda. You're right.
So
Which is sad because, like, that has its own. I mean, that's
yeah,
another conversation, but like
that
that has its
could
own
be a
issues
whole
and
other
everything.
episode. But yeah,
But you're right about that. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I think that Dave TV could be really good. I think it
Yes.
could fit a niche. I'm really excited. The combat, nothing I saw, and I also think BioWare made a mistake because the opening establishing shot in that trailer was really cool for people who know Dragon Age. but you
Mm,
came into it without like knowing the lore
yeah,
knowledge. For
yeah.
3 games, Tevinter, which is where that trailer takes place, that country has been spoken about, has been hinted at as
Ah,
like,
okay.
oh, this is what it's like there. This is the first actual look at that place in game. So if you're a
Yeah.
Dragon Age fan, you're like, wow, this is what it looks like. That's why if you notice a lot, like Redbeard Flynn and I were kind of like, we didn't really see anything that put us off. In fact, it was kind of cool. But more other people were like, what is this Arkham Dragon Age,
I mean,
thing?
look, I still stand by that. I know a lot of people disagree. I still stand by it. To me, I'm a huge fan of the Arkham games. I played
Well, yeah, I
every
don't think
single
it's a
one.
bad thing.
Um, exactly, and that's what I was saying too. I never said that like because to me it looked like an Arkham
Yeah,
City, right? Like
yeah.
the Gotham City in the Arkham games. It just had that like the color and like the way it
Mm-hmm.
like it was kind of vibrant and but gloomy at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, right? It just reminded me of like Gotham, at night.
Yeah.
And being Batman or whatever, but I never said it was like a bad thing, but I still
No.
stand by it because like that's what I got from that impression of like it just looked like I was about to go to a rooftop and glide everywhere, for a
Yeah.
second. Like,
And that's not like, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I also
mm,
think that like if you're a Dragon Age person who's followed the lore, you're like,
yeah,
wow, this is Tevinter. This is,
yeah, yeah,
Minrathous. And you're like, holy shit, this is cool to be here after hearing about it. You've heard about all of these places within the Dragon Age world, and you've been to most of them. Inquisition let you go to most of them. Origins started in one place. Dragon Age 2 had its own location. So you've been to a lot of the locations. So when you see this location that you've only heard about
hmm
in stories from characters, and to see it, it's really cool. So I feel like BioWare didn't do themselves the best favor, or didn't do themselves any favor, I should say, by showing that first, because it let people. And again, I know you're not saying it as a negative, but there are plenty of people who are looking at it like, oh, this Arkham wannabe. Like people use that
yeah,
as
yeah.
sort of a slide. So I think, I will say in closing, it already has my vote for Game of the Year because it said no hinterlands, no hinterlands like area, and no microtransactions. So they've already
Yeah, and I
confirmed
think
no.
it said, don't quote me, but I believe they said there was no like internet connection required or whatever. Kind of like like the whole like you always have to be on the internet or whatever to play
Yeah,
the game or whatever. Um,
that's good. It seems like they're trying to
so
do the
I
right
don't
thing.
I don't think it could be game of the year, but then again, I'm not a Dragon Age fan, so like I'm just
Depends on what
saying.
comes out this
But
year.
it's just it's just it's just funny because like there's to me, I don't feel like there's a lot of competition this year for like game of the year. Like what would you have? I guess Outlaws and there's 2 Ubisoft games this year. Like you got or yeah,
Skull
Outlaws.
and
Uh,
Bones.
right. It's gonna get the triple or no quadruple A award.
You know what?
Um
Ubisoft should be disqualified for releasing Skull and Bones with a straight face.
yeah, that's true. And having that poor man go through that whole trailer acting like he was hype. Okay, you know that man was them. I was
Yeah.
like, he's like, all right, I did what you asked. Like,
Can you release my family, please?
oh man, look. I'm a game. Look, at the end of the day, I'm a gamer. When there's games announced, I'll get excited. Okay,
Yeah.
whether they're shit or not, because I'm like, hey, they're games. It's gonna be out there for somebody, right? Someone's gonna enjoy it, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, you enjoy what you want to enjoy. Doesn't matter if no anybody else doesn't like it. And I
Yeah.
want it to be successful,
Same.
because
Same.
again, I want a new fantasy game, and that's a new
Yeah.
fantasy game that's coming out. So um I'm yeah, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm being
Same.
positive because I know it
Same.
has a lot of negativity right now, which I don't think it deserves because
No.
there's way worse games, or companies that deserve that hate and they don't get it. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's just
I'm
my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, no, I'm hopeful. I'm excited because I love Dragon Age, and I'm excited to get a new Dragon Age. I'm excited because the last DLC of Inquisition leaves off on a cliffhanger, and it seems, I hate unanswered cliffhangers. So at the very least, we'll get an answer to that cliffhanger, I hope. And hopefully, at the end of Dragon Age, Dave TV, there's no cliffhangers, and the next Dragon Age gets a good story. But I'm hopeful for several reasons. I want BioWare to get back on their shit. I want, because I want a new Mass Effect. I know they're working on it, and I hope that this game is successful so we can get, a new Mass Effect. And as you say, I'm a gamer too. There's a lot of games that are coming out that I don't really have an interest in. I don't care for. I'm not too excited for the new Gears of War or, the new Avowed doesn't really look like anything interesting. But I want them to succeed. I want them to do well because I want more games of that ilk. These sort of, RPG, more single player, less live service. I want those to succeed.
Yeah.
I want those to do well because I want more of those kinds of games. Because eventually there's going to be a game that'll come out that'll tickle my taint, and I'll want to play it, and I'll, be excited for it. So, hopeful for Dave TV, and that, we'll see what happens. We'll stay on top of new stuff that comes out. I heard the IGN article was super spoilery, so I didn't read it.
Okay.
But if they release more game footage or whatever, we'll discuss it again. But BB, we're reaching the end of our time here together this week. What are your parting thoughts? Your parting words of wisdom?
No. As always, I like doing this, so I'm glad that we finally, like, I honestly been wanting to talk about the Dragon Age, the whole Dragon Age thing. It's like, I mean, it's a hot topic right now, right? But I wanted to have the discussion with you and
Yeah.
see how we both feel about it. But no, again, if you are still here, as we always say, you're the MVP. I appreciate you watching the show, and checking out our channels. Um, and there'll be a lot more soon. Or sorry, there'll be a lot more things coming soon.
Did all of those words
uh,
try to come out all at once? A
I
lot
think
more
so.
soon.
I think yeah. It was like all like it was like I think I like pressed the blender button by accident, and. But yeah, I'm excited to cover more of Dragon Age. We're definitely gonna cover it. It's
Yeah.
something that I know Jay is very passionate about because he loves the series, and me, a potential new fan, right? Depending on how our acquisition goes, I think we'll cover it. So we'll try to see what other news we can look out for. And hopefully there's a new game. Like that's my biggest thing. It's the gameplay. I hope
Yeah.
that there's new gameplay about it.
Yeah.
But
I want to see
but
some
yeah,
combos.
yes, I definitely want to
Yeah.
see that. But yeah, I hope you all have a good what's tomorrow, Friday? Yeah, I hope you all have a good weekend.
Well, it depends on when
But
you
as of
watch this,
today,
but
as of
yeah.
today, it's tomorrow is Friday.
Yeah. As of this today, tomorrow is Friday. Yes. But
Yeah.
no, thank you everybody. As BB said, if you're still watching this and you hung through and you're hanging out with us, you are indeed the MVPs, and we could not do this without each and every one of you. Check us out. BB is twitch.tv/BBansky. I am twitch.tv/Outlawman76. We record these Twitch lives on my channel, and of course we stream sometimes individually, sometimes collectively. Give us a follow, check us out. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. Consider dinging our bell, and we'll ring your bell or something. I don't know. Leave a comment, say something. But for BB, I'm Jay. This has been a episode of the BB&J Show. We'll see you next time. I don't know what the hell we'll cover, but I'm sure somebody will break some news and we'll have to try to fix it. So
Yeah, or we'll just make our own,
yeah, BB will go on a spree of spreading legs, and we'll have to cover it. Until
Please
next time,
don't.
everybody. There's an image to keep in your head. Bye bye.